Let's bring in Douglas Murray, best-selling author of The Strange Death of Europe, The Madness of Crowds, and his latest work, The War on the West. Douglas, we'll get to the ICC shortly, but first today we learned through our new court filing that was unsealed today, the Department of Justice authorised the use of deadly force when FBI agents executed a raid at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in August 2022. This seems all a bit heavy-handed, Douglas, when looking for classified documents.
Yes. I mean, when this first happened, I said to you, I mean, the best interpretation was that some librarians in the National Archives got cross, but who knew that librarians could send in the gunmen? I wonder if the same consideration of lethal force was ever considered when documents needed to be retrieved from President Biden's Chevrolet and his garage and various other places. It just seems extraordinary to me, as I think it will to most viewers. After all, what would the FBI have been expecting? Were they expecting a sort of standoff? Were they expecting to shoot security officers and others who, of course, would surround President Trump at all times anyway, in and out of office? It seems extraordinary to me, and could have been, if it had been followed through on, one of those absolute kerosene on the fire events that everybody in American politics is rightfully fearful of.
Well, yeah, these threats to democracy we keep hearing about. Now, let's go to the ICC. And you warned us about the International Criminal Court and its Chief Prosecutor, Karim Khan, some time ago. And you were right on the money. Khan has now defended his recommendation of arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli Defence Minister. Khan says he took this action because Israeli courts did not appear to be investigating alleged abuse in Gaza.
It's an extraordinary thing. And by the way, anyone interested in dystopias should look at the announcement that this so-called prosecutor Khan made with these two equally nondescript people standing behind him. It looked like a bad 1970s B-movie, BBC made-for-television cop film. People have to remember that the ICC, the International Criminal Court, is simply not what it claims to be. It does not have jurisdiction, and in my view, it should not have jurisdiction. In my view, it should not have jurisdiction over British troops or British politicians, nor should it, in my view, and this is a case for the Australian public, of course, have jurisdiction over Australian soldiers or over Australian politicians. But of course, Israel isn't a signatory to the court, quite rightly, in my view, as this has demonstrated, and nor is America, because America knew from the beginning of this extra-national entity, this supranational entity, that if you allow these nondescript, highly motivated ideologues like so-called prosecutor Khan, they will do all of their hobby horses. I'm fascinated that Khan has immediately decided to go for the Jews. Of course he has. He singled out the one Jewish state in the world and is trying to prosecute its democratically elected leader. This is the first time the International Criminal Court has come for a democratically elected leader. Has Mr. Khan bothered to go for, I don't know, Bashar al-Assad or the supreme leader in Iran who hangs women who've been raped for the crime of being raped? Has he gone for any of them? No, of course not. He's not interested in pursuing all of these Muslim leaders in the Middle East who carry out atrocities day in, day out. No, he's gone for the democratically elected leader of the one Jewish state. He's an ideologue. The court has no jurisdiction over this, and it is simply a smear. And Khan is playing right into the hands of Hamas. Whether he means to do so or not, I suppose it's only for him to say.
Well, we have a list of the experts who back the ICC warrants against Israel. The panel includes international law and human rights expert Danny Friedman, British House of Lords member Helena Kennedy, And British Lebanese barrister and human rights lawyer Amal Clooney, who posted a statement on the website of the Clooney Foundation for Justice. She wrote, "We unanimously conclude that there are reasonable grounds to believe that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israeli Defence Minister Yoav Gallant have committed war crimes and crimes against humanity, including starvation as a method of warfare, murder, persecution and extermination. I served on this panel because I believe in the rule of law and the need to protect civilian lives." Douglas, what's your response to that?
These are all more preposterous political ideologues pretending to be cool, level-minded lawyers. Helena Kennedy is a far left-wing career political operative in the UK. She spent her whole life campaigning for loony left causes and giving them some legal patina. Amal Clooney, another highly motivated political operator. In her case, doubtless she will use this to raise more funds for the Clooney Foundation and to burnish her own credentials in some other way. But if you just consider what they've done there, first of all, these preposterous so-called judges and lawyers have done no on-the-ground research, nothing original. They haven't been into Gaza. They haven't been in any of the areas of the fighting. So when they say we find that Benjamin Netanyahu could have overseen murder in a war zone, they don't even know that it has happened. I mean, I suspect there is some killing in a war zone. It strikes me as being kind of de rigueur, and that's why Hamas shouldn't have started a war. But the other thing these people have done is, as I said earlier, Khan decided to go for the one Jewish state in the world. But he waited and did it at the same time as going for, or claiming that he's going to go for, Sinwar, the Hamas leader who planned and organized the 7th of October massacres. So what he's doing is this neat political, I would say even Islamist ideological thing, which is if you can't get through in the way you want, you pretend there is moral parity between Hamas and the IDF, between Sinwar, who planned the 7th of October atrocities, and Benjamin Netanyahu, whose task it is, the unenviable task of getting the hostages home and punishing the leadership of Hamas. They have just drawn an equivalence between those two things. I think it's, as I say, highly motivated, highly political at best. The whole thing stinks of an agenda. And I would just say that everybody who's just stumbled upon the International Criminal Court should remember, again, it isn't what it says it is. It has no jurisdiction in these matters, and nor should it. If it is agreed that these highly motivated individuals can come for Benjamin Netanyahu and the Minister of Defense Gallant, they will be coming for an Australian Prime Minister next, or a British Home Secretary, or an American Secretary of State, and they have no more right there.